Dave Tacklini, St. Thomas the Apostle, and the theme is coming into the community of God. John and Karen, let me start off by saying thank you very much for doing what is absolutely in the best interest of your child with this action of baptism. This sacrament brings a very important second birth to Jackson today as he enters into the family of God. As our opening prayer today states, this community rejoices with you. For today the number of those baptized in Christ will be increased, and we offer you our support in raising your child in the practice of the faith. That's the role that we play here at St. Thomas as we baptize this child. We play an active role and desire to be sort of that support for you through this. In today's reading from the Gospel of Mark, there are two things I wanted to highlight. One is the importance that Jesus places on baptism right from the beginning of his ministry as he goes into those waters and makes them holy. Also, though, what we see clearly in this reading is the entire Trinity revealed. Okay? We see Jesus, of course, being baptized. We see the Father through his voice telling Jesus, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." And we see the Spirit coming down on Jesus in the form of a dove. Jackson, may you hear the Father's voice as well as you come up out of these waters of baptism, and may you even now begin to experience the fullness of that Trinity in your daily life. As we go through this ceremony this morning, we're going to see water mentioned constantly. We will hear of how the Spirit hovered over the waters at the time of creation. We will hear of the waters of the flood during Noah's time and how that really was a representation of sort of this regeneration that Jackson is to experience in baptism today. And we'll see the crossing of the Red Sea and hear about that, as that really was a prefigurement of this baptism that we celebrate today. Besides water, though, Jackson will also experience oils throughout this ceremony. The first is the oil of catechumens, which is used as a seal to protect Jackson, okay, from evil, temptation, and sin, and this will be the only time he receives this oil. Afterwards, he'll receive the sacred chrism oil, okay, which is really a sign of used for consecration, and it will be used hopefully in a few years for Jackson's confirmation, and you never know, might even be used in holy orders if he becomes a priest. But that's a little premature, I think, at this point. I confess I don't remember sort of my own baptism or First Communion, and I only remember my confirmation because I ended up in the newspaper afterwards, so it was sort of a little bit more constantly brought up with me. But what I do now know is sort of the importance that my parents put on these sacraments to really give me sort of that foundation, to eventually make my own sort of adult decision to follow the Lord, and really brings me to this point here today with you to confer this sacrament upon Jackson. These graces that come through these sacraments are very important for Jackson, for his daily walk with the Lord and to sort of build up that foundation. And like any good relationship, this relationship takes time, and it has to be nurtured along the way. And you as the parents and the godparents of Jackson have that opportunity to really impart these blessings upon him at a really young age, all along the way, to come alongside him and to help him in this walk with the Lord. The sooner this relationship can develop and grow, Jackson can become that priest, prophet, and king that we are all called to by our own baptism. Good.
450.
450. Okay.